Hello, everyone. Jason Schreiber from Grounded in Granite here. Uh, so this is a little bit different. Normally, when I post, my posts are about my episodes, and but this is not. This is actually a just sort of a reflection on the past 6 months. So I started this journey into podcasting 6 months ago. I'm at the 6 month mark, and I thought, okay, this is probably a good time to kind of take a look at, what has happened, what this journey has been like for me since I started at the in November, and kind of where I'm at now. And I have my mug of coffee, which I've wanted to try to like introduce mugs of coffee with my guests on my episodes. I just haven't got there yet. I'm hoping we can, we can do it, but it's just so much. There's so much to this, and I have learned a lot since I started this podcast, and I and I think a lot of people. Well, I've kind of read the stats on new podcasts and the failure rate, and I mean, most of the new podcasts fail because people realize it's just so much more work than they thought it was going to be. They lose passion for it, and I, I have been able to keep this going because I just enjoy it. I mean, I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy traveling around the state. I mean, it's kind of an extension of my work as a journalist, and so I'm used to being out in the field. I'm used to, I'm used to meeting a deadline to, so always had to, the paper always had to come out. So you had to have a story ready. So every Monday I have an episode ready, and some weeks not easy, but I've been able to remain consistent, and I think that's the big thing. So anyone who's thinking about starting a podcast, it is all about consistency, and you also have to be realistic because I think some people think they're going to go into podcasting and they're going to become famous overnight, and they're going to get, millions of views. And, it's just not, I mean, unless you're covering the sexiest topics under the sun, it's just not going to it's just not the reality of it. It's certainly not in the beginning. And I don't even know where things are going to go for me. I mean, I'm just doing this because I wanted to give this a try. I think I kind of went into this with somewhat, realistic expectations about what it was going to be. I mean, I knew it was not going to, take off overnight, and and my approach is very different. And sometimes I wonder if what I'm doing is really a podcast because, as I said when I started this, there will be no Zoom interviews. I am not going to sit in a home studio and do Zoom interviews because it's just not. I like to be out, where the people are, and so, yeah, travel around the state does make more work for me. Traveling from the seacoast to the White Mountains, it's the travel time is work, but I do love that. And the interesting thing is, so I've spent 30 years as a journalist, a print journalist, as some of you know, and so I've been all over the state. I mean, I've lived in New Hampshire my whole life. I've been all over the state, covered all kinds of things as a reporter, but yet during this podcast, I have been to some towns that I never visited in my days as a journalist, which is really interesting. And that's been so much fun. I mean, it's been fun to visit some towns that that I only passed through or didn't even pass through before. I mean, I've been to Franklin, New Hampshire twice for 2 podcast episodes already. And I don't think I ever went to Franklin. I never covered anything in Franklin. I never visited Franklin, just as a lifelong New Hampshire resident. And I discovered Brothers Donuts in one of my stops in Franklin, which was the place is awesome. And it's just this little rinky-dink donut shop in Franklin. But oh my word. So that's been fun to kind of discover some new places along the way. And so that has been really awesome. And of course, meeting new people is always fun. And and I know doing this podcast, I also know that you know, every week is different. The subjects are different. The guests are different. The topics, it is just different. So it's not like, podcasts where there's a similar theme, and maybe it's health and wellness, fitness, that sort of stuff. Mine is like, I mean, some people have said, maybe it isn't really a podcast. It's more like a traveling storytelling show. And maybe it is. Maybe it really isn't. It's not your typical podcast, but it's the podcast that I want to do. So what I have found too is if you're going to do a podcast, your heart has to be in it, and you've got to really, it's got to be something that you want to do and you're going to enjoy doing. I mean, yes, you have times when you're pulling your hair out. I mean, learning all of the equipment. I mean, I know when I started this, I had my intro video where I expressed concerns about, you know, talking into a microphone and the technology side of it, which I knew nothing about. I mean, I've only been a print journalist with a camera, but this was a whole nother ballgame, and I've learned a ton. I still have a ton to learn. I mean, there's so much more I could be doing better. But you just kind of learn as you go and just realize that that's just the way it is. I mean, it's not perfect. And that's just the funniest thing. Oh my God. So, uh, I, my best performing episode so far was when I went to Pittsfield and interviewed Eli English in his old barn with all of his vintage signs from New Hampshire and other places. I mean, that was such a fun interview. So we're sitting in his freezing barn. It's the middle of winter, and he was just awesome. But the funny thing is, so when I set up my stuff and to do the interview, I always kind of do a test to make sure the microphone is working. So we'll chat with the guest for like 30 seconds or whatever, and then play it back. Well, in order to hear the audio, I have to unplug unplug the microphone from my laptop, which is what I record on. And so I unplugged it. We listened back, sounded great. I forgot to plug the microphone back in. So then we go to do the interview, half-hour interview, and I did not know until after it was done that I never even plugged the stupid microphone back in. So what the audio that was the microphone that picked up the audio was actually just the microphone within the laptop, which is okay, but it's not these microphones. So anyhow, but I made it work. I think people watching that episode did not know that we're talking in a microphone that is even plugged in. But it turned out that was like my best performing video, and I only had 5,700 views. So, but hey, for me, I'll take it. I mean, that was that was great, and when you're doing an on-location podcast, there's a lot of challenges. I mean, plus the other problem is, well, it's not really a problem, but it kind of sometimes becomes one, is the platform that I record on for the podcast it needs an internet connection, so needs Wi-Fi. So and which, I mean, the platform is great. It's just it needs that connection. So that's a little hard at times, depending on what you're doing. So, and I've had to if I go to a place where the Wi-Fi either is they don't have Wi-Fi or it's a poor connection, then I'm using my hotspot on my phone, which that can be tricky. So that hasn't been fun at times, but it's always worked out. So there's just moments of stress, and then you get lighting issues, and I've been I've learned I've gotten better with the lighting. I finally have lights that I can bring around with me, and but even then, sometimes you get sunlight coming in, a wind. I mean, it's just not perfect when you're out in the field doing this, and that's just how it is. And it's also, when you're a one-man show, I've thought at times, oh, can you imagine, like, if I had how much less stressful it would be if I had a crew, someone with me who could do all the recording, and I could just focus on chatting with the person and, having a grand time. But that's just not the way it is. I'm a one-man show, and it's just going to be a one-man show, and that's fine. Hey, I signed up for it, and we're making it work. But um, see, I'm looking at what I'm recording and wondering. There's some light blinking. I don't know what it's doing, but we'll just keep going and see what happens. But um, but I'm just being realistic about what I'm doing. Oh, I was going to say, so I realize with what I'm doing is very different from other podcasts, and every week some a guest might appeal more to some people than others. I mean, it is a variety. I mean, it's different. And I totally get that. Some are going to tune in one week, they're not going to tune in the next. Everyone has different interests. For me, it's just what I like. I like to meet different people, learn about different places, different things, and that's kind of, as a journalist, I've had to cover all kinds of things, and so I like the variety, and so for me to keep this up, it has to be something I enjoy doing, because it's not like I'm making money. I mean, you're not making, I'm not making money off this. And it's just, it's something I wanted to do. And I'm really excited that I've made it to the 6-month mark. And I hope we can, I can continue that and continue to learn and, really grow, and hopefully more people will discover the channel, and it just takes time, but and a lot of time because yeah, I mean, as I said, anyone who's thinking of starting a podcast better be ready, because it is a lot, and you just get one episode out the door, and then now you got to get working on the next one, and I have other work to do as well, unrelated to the podcast. So yeah, yeah, but it has been fun, and I really appreciate all the support, all of those of you who have tuned in to see what I have to say, what my guests have to say. It's really been fun, and I really do appreciate all of the support that you've all offered, and understanding that what I'm doing isn't perfect. But the more I think about the show, there are some podcasts that are so overproduced. It's like such a big production with, the best this and the best that. You know, I think it's okay to just be kind of authentic and simple, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, I don't think I'd want my podcast, or I might even stop calling it a podcast, because again, I don't feel like it is a podcast. But I just feel like, kind of overproduced shows. Maybe that's just not. I guess maybe that's just not me, and so I'm okay. I'm okay with what I'm doing, and but obviously it needs to have some quality to it. uh, but I've thought about doing uh, like a what did I have for a name for it? Like um I don't know. I was thinking of doing like a separate episode, like a short episode each week, where it's sort of like on the road heading to the place where I'm going to be doing an interview for that week, and kind of maybe some things that I see along the way. Maybe I make a few stops. Maybe I hit a cafe. Maybe and that could be sort of a separate little thing that's kind of related to the podcast, but not necessarily part of the episode. But I don't know. It's just more work. That's more work for me, and but it could be fun, and I don't know whether people tune in or not, but it could be kind of fun to do. So I have all these other ideas, and there's a lot more I'd like to do on social media. It's just finding the time to do it, and I'm also not like I'm not a youngin who can is I mean, I've certainly had had experience with social media, but there's it's still yeah, it's still it's all a lot, but you gotta just love what you're doing. So I hope you've all enjoyed it. And if you have ideas on, more types of, maybe there's certain types of episodes you'd like to see more of, certain types of guests, or you have any suggestions on stuff maybe something I should be doing that could make things better, I'm all ears. I'm open to anything. Well, no, I'm not open to anything because there are I'll draw the line at there are certain times I have to draw the line. So, but I'm open to I'm an open person. So, fire away, and we'll see if it works. I haven't even been drinking my coffee. Let's see. I got this at Trends Gift Gallery in Exeter, and it is perfect. New Hampshire. We have the moose. We have the buffalo plaid, and I gotta get this on the show on a regular basis. But with all the other stuff I'm hauling around, the thought of having to bring coffee, because I can't assume that my guests are going to like brew me a cup of coffee, brew coffee, so we can all both sit and have coffee. So I would have to bring it, I feel like, and it's just I haven't got there yet. I can't even. I'm just trying to get through each week. But anyhow, all right. I've rambled enough. Thank you all for listening. I again appreciate the support. If you want to try podcasting, I say give it a go, but be realistic, and just don't set your expectations up here, because you're going to be sadly disappointed probably. So, anyhow, well, thank you all for following along on this journey. And until next time, remember, every person and every place has a story to tell. I just love saying that. We'll see you all soon.